I know it's a little ass backwards, but this is part two, and this is should have been part one because I should have explained, but I really didn't know what I was doing at first when I started with that story about how I manifested my mama hobo life. But what I really wanted to do was start talking because I want to feel normal again. Please don't point that out that I'm crying because I know I've been crying a long time. That's why I shut up. I couldn't get stuff out. I was doing pretty good. I was flying along really good in my healing, and one of my kids moved back in, and some shit happened, and it was hard. And so, anyway, that kid is moved on and hopefully doing really well. And my other kid decided she wanted to pursue some dreams in her home state. And she took all my grandbabies and moved away. And I learned about this all through the holiday season last year, but for the last 3 years I've been really quiet because it's been really hard when you're going through stuff and you're not a good faker and you can't really talk about stuff because I'm an honorable human being. I'm not like that. I mean, maybe I haven't always been honorable. There's been dishonorable moments. That's not what I'm claiming, but also in my quietness and in things that have happened, I have felt that I'm not okay. And there was times that I really didn't care if I wanted to be okay. The truth is, I want to be here. Okay? I want to be here. I still got kids. They're all on Earth still. I still got 6 grandbabies. One I haven't seen in 15 years. Yeah, I got a grandbaby I haven't seen and held in 15 years. I get photos. And 2 more grandbabies I can't see right now. It's not me. Look. It's not me. I did everything I could. I did everything in my power. And life is just life. And we don't always like the way it works out. But sometimes years later, we figure out that was the best way it was supposed to have worked anyway. So, come February, it was really hard. And then my daughter left right after my birthday for her dreams. And I spent the last week there on my birthday with my grandbabies here. And it's been so quiet. And there's also been other things, like stuff's not really right. Like I have a hard time staying focused on one thing at a time, which I think I always have. I think I've always had some problems, and I've been masking them with like drugs and not like, I mean, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I only did some heavy drugs for like 7 years. It was after my kids left home. Everything else that I did in my life was pretty much legal except marijuana, and y'all need to free the plant. Anyway, so there's a whole lot of stories, and I got a whole lot to tell. Back to the reason that I started doing these is because I feel like something's in my head's not right. And I don't know if it's just from a lot of trauma or because I used drugs for a while, or maybe I never was right. I mean, I know that I'm neurodivergent. I know that. I mean, and I know that I masked my whole life. And now it's people understand things and what. And I know we had to get these labels so that we could learn to understand and accept people, which is really fucking stupid because we should love and accept people anyway. But back to my point that I keep straying from is sometimes I get my words mixed up and I have a hard time communicating. And I feel really stupid. I've been through a lot of shit, and by 53, I've already got false teeth, stents in my chest, really screwed up looking spine. And I haven't been able to work in 13 years, nor have I been able to pursue disability, which I did during COVID, and that was a real wreck, and it scared me. So what I mean by when I was talking in part 1 about being a bum, a hobo, and my husband spoils me, and it wasn't always like that either, because there's more stories to tell about that. But we've been together 20 years. We've been married 19 this year. I think it was 19, yeah, or something. And that's another thing, forgetting. And I know it's normal to forget stuff. I mean, I've always been kind of forgetful and flighty and aloof and stuff. But I'm not really. I'm in another world and nobody realizes it but me. It's called La La Land. No, yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of stories to tell. So anyway, like, and the only one that's really noticed it is Neil, because I don't do a whole lot of talking to anybody. I really don't. I mean, I talk to my kids. I talk to my siblings. I don't like phone calls, and I haven't for a long time. And I know there's a couple of y'all that have really wanted to reach out to me, and some of y'all I have talked on the phone to. I just really don't like it. I really don't like talking on the phone. I'm better in person. But lately in person for the last couple of years, and Neil's been noticing it. I've been masking big time, and I've just been quiet. But I don't know how to explain it or give you an example. It's just that sometimes the wrong words come out, and sometimes, like, instead of saying candy bar, I say hamburger or whatever. I gotta move, my back's hurting. So that's what this is about. And I'm gonna start talking and telling stories. And if y'all been following me, I used to do a whole bunch of videos back in the day, and I was talking a lot, and that was kind of before I got clean. I did a 7-year stretch of speed, and I don't really want to talk about what it was or anything, but it started out legally, because back in the 90s you could buy that ephedra, and they took that off the market, and I couldn't function when they did that. I freaked out. That's how I ended up in Texas, because I freaked out. Too many things happened at once, and I lost it. There's probably 3 or 4 times in my life that I lost my mind. And so, I've had to pull myself from a dark place. And this year, I did call the crisis hotline for myself. And that was fucking wild, because I thought I had done all this healing right. But I let everything go, and I'm off half of my pharmaceutical medications that I'm on. I do still take the blood thinners for my stents because I am not confident enough in that I don't need them, because I actually do want to live and I don't want to die. So I'm a little afraid, and I'm not one of them people that say every fucking drug is bad. I understand the system and how it's working and how shitty it is. But I'm not ever going to sit here and tell you that all the pharmaceuticals are bad and shit. And y'all have to start being a little more objective here. Because some of this whole healing stuff and all this is a little ridiculous. We didn't come here to fix. We came here to make sure that our hearts stayed light as a feather and our will stiff as a board. And with that concludes part 2 of, wait, what was it again? I don't remember. I'll have to write it down a whole bunch so I don't forget, because that's another thing. With cannabis and coffee with Witch Moon. And that's another one. Maybe part 3 will be about Witch Moon and how she's ready to fly away and just leave me with the moon. Just me and Mooney. Anyway. I love y'all. Bye.